Hello everyone, my name is Delani, better known as Deliberry340, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to discuss 10 books I think you should add to your TBR. So these books are not listed in any specific order, it's just what came to mind. First book would be Welcome to Brookwood by Jacquel J. It is a contemporary romance set in a fictional city, Brookwood in North Carolina, and it just oozes romance, especially in the beginning when we're met with a teacher who ends up falling for one of her students' father. So we love a little single dad getting his groove back after a divorce. And I just absolutely love that series because each set of books in that series follow along a different set of characters. Next is Take My Hand by Dolene Perkins Valdez, and that is a historical fiction set in the 1970s where a Black nurse in the post-segregated Alabama era realizes that there is an injustice happening to her patients. And when I say this book tugged at my emotions, it did, because it's based on true events. And it is actually something that is still happening today, especially to incarcerated females. And that book it really tugged at my heartstrings, and it sat with me for a few days. And actually, it still sits with me to this day. And I read it almost a year ago. So I would definitely say when you go into reading this, be prepared, just take your time, have your tissues ready, because it's going to pull out those tear ducts. I can't give a top 10 books to add to your TBR without mentioning a rom-com, because I love rom-com, and Ella Gets the D by Tanvia Peart is one that I always recommend to people. Ella Gets the D is a double entendre because she gets some new dick and she gets a divorce. We love when a woman leaves a shitty man. Of course, the Hoop series by Kennedy Ryan is just one of my favorite series from her of all times. But Hook Shot, which follows Lotus's story, will always be my favorite in the book. It is an interconnected series. Yes, read it in order. Start with Long Shot, then go to Black Shot, then you go to Hook Shot. But Hook Shot is just always my favorite in that series, because the way that Lotus experienced love, it was just so swoony, so refreshing, and I absolutely love that storyline. A next book that you probably hear me talk about a lot and recommend a lot is Summer's Echo by Robbie Renee. That book put me in such a book slump. It is also contemporary romance, and it was just so loving because of the way that Summer was loved on by Echo. His patience on waiting for her to figure out what it is that she really wanted when it comes to them and their relationship. I don't know, the lover girl in me was just like eating it up. It did put me in such a bad book slump, but I love that story like so bad, and I recommend it a lot. This next one is a polyamorous retelling, Seven by Latoya Nicole. It's the retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It is polyamorous. If you do not like erotica, don't bother putting it on your TBR. It's not going to be for you. One woman, 7 individuals. You get the drift? Okay. It was a good time. It was a good time. And that little Snow White, just add it to your TBR if that's something that you're interested in. This one is a oldie, but still always a goldie. Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. That book left me speechless. I was not expecting the ending, and that was one that put me in silence for a minute. That was one where when you finish a book, all you could do is close the book and just sit with your thoughts. It was crazy, but it was good. Hence why it's on this list. This was a new to me author, and I recently read this book. Absolutely love it. Rivals to Lovers, more of like a arranged forced marriage, Sinful Serenity by Mary C. Kim. I love a Rivals to Lovers, Enemies to Lovers, that type of vibe, because I just love seeing how they try to avoid each other and not falling in love with each other, but they still end up with each other in the end. I enjoy it, especially when it has great banter, and Sinful Serenity is definitely one of those books that encompasses all of those components for me, and that's why I recommend it. It's also an erotica, so again, if that's not what you like, then don't put that on your TBR. But if that's what you like, definitely put it on your TBR. This book was the first book that I read by this author, and it was hilarious. Body Count by Netra Antoinette will forever always be a fave of mine. It is the beginning of the Mind, Body, and Soul series, but I just loves how she plays with the titles of these books, because they never actually equate to what the storyline is about, in a sense that it's not surface level. It's deeper meaning to the title, and I absolutely love that. And Body Count is one of those books that will literally have you cackling from the beginning to the end, but there is also a message in that book. And that's the next thing that I love about Netra Antoinette's writing, is that each book you leave learning something, whether it's about yourself, about the characters, or just a deeper meaning to what the book really means. And I just absolutely love that, and Body Count is one of those books. Top tier, forever will recommend. Last but not least, 3 Months in Accra by L.B. Gaines. L.B. Gaines was also a new to me author, and I read 3 Months in Accra a few months ago, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing. I went through that series expeditiously. I just love the way that L.B. Gaines writes. It just draws you in, and you could feel the love oozing out of the pages of your book. And this book is that black love is just shining through it. And like I say, it's captivating, and she will suck you in from the beginning to the end and will not disappoint you. Now, these are just 10 books. I always have many more recommendations to provide, but these are just 10 that I think you should start with. And of course, I could provide another 10 on a later date, but start with these 10 on your TBR. Comment down below if you've read any of these, or if any of these are on your TBR, but because you watch this video, you're going to move them up your TBR. I remember, books don't expire. Buy the book, you can read it anyways. Check out you. See you in the next video. Bye.